Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a deconstructed puddle pour, and I'm going to be using what's called the Pearl by Amsterdam Dream Create. And what I've done is I've actually mixed the colors. This one is green, and it's mixed with Allotrol, 2 parts Allotrol to the paint, and a 1/4 cup of the pouring gloss medium. I have not used water in this, and so in mixing it, I want it to flow, and then it will form a puddle and then slowly disappear. So it's a little on the thicker side, but I think it will work out really well for this type of pour. And so what I want to do first is put down my base, and I'm going to be using black, and we'll see how it turns out. With the pearl paints, they all look sort of white, and there's just a hint of that color or colors in there. The beauty of this, however, is that as it dries, those colors just come to life. And so I'm hoping that some of those effects will come through before I finish this video. And I've done this once before, not using the pearl paints. I've used just acrylic pour paints on it, and it worked out really well. So this will be a first use in the pearlescent or pearl paints, and that consistency will be a little bit thicker this time. And I'm hoping that the effect will be exactly what I want it to be. So I've put down my base or cloud pillow, and what I want to do is blow out any bubbles in that paint, because I don't want it to, I don't want those bubbles to show up later. Hopefully that will not happen. How's everyone doing this morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are right now? It is still rather cold, although the wind is not as blustery as it has been this week. It is Friday, so that's always a good day for a lot of folks. I'm retired. I don't know if you knew that. And here I am, just doing my therapy sessions with you kind folk out there. So I want to start off with my white pearl. And again, I want you to just check out the consistency as it comes off of that stirring stick and puddles or mound forms and then disappears. So that will be the first that will go down. And I'm just going to create puddles here and there and let the magic take over once it does start drying, and hopefully it will work out. Yesterday I spoke about a book that I had read that still haunts me, And Then You Were Gone by Ivy Logan. And I want to just give a shout out to New York Times best-selling author Paris Afton Bonds. If you have not read her work, it is another one of my highly recommended authors whose works I have read. There is a magic in her writing, and each piece is a visceral journey into life and adventure. And who doesn't like adventures? It's never too late to take an adventure. There's sometimes adventures of a lifetime. One of the books that stands out for me is Answering the Call. And Lauren, our protagonist, is a 70-year-old woman who's eccentric, has some eclectic tastes, and she's worked pretty much her entire life doting on her daughter, who is a psychotherapist, and Lauren has worked in her office for quite a few years. But there comes a point in her 70-year-old life where she's just not happy with the way things have been. And so she finds herself constantly questioning herself. And it's one of the things she keeps repeating is there must be an easier way. And it's sort of become her mantra. Her daughter, on the other hand, sees her as perhaps losing touch with reality and is trying to get her committed. Lauren, on the other hand, has other plans. So she packs everything up and moves to Mexico. And it is there that she's actually engaged with, or engages with, this gentleman of sorts, who's younger than she. And mind you, she's not a cougar by any stretch of the imagination, but she finds herself really attracted to this man. He is a detective, he's worked for the government, and so he takes her on these adventures or escapades trying to unearth, uncover, and take care of the seedier side of the things that are happening in Mexico. And so it's a truly engaging read. It will have you turning page after page as we follow Lauren through Mexico and exploring societal issues that are very prevalent there. Again, a real highly recommended read. And while you're scoping out Paris Afton Bond's works, you might also want to pick up her Texican series. I've read them, and they are also very mesmerizing and very engaging and thrilling reads. So again, check them out on Amazon. Paris Afton Bonds, you can get them on Kindle. This New York Times best-selling author will surely have you wanting more, and she has a litany of titles for you to choose from. Please do that. All right, so I've put down my white and my blue. I'm gonna go in and put in my yellow. My red is in there as well. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Yes, the puddles are becoming a little bit elongated, and that's okay. I'm thinking perhaps next time I'll even make my paint thicker. I like when the mounds are round. It just makes a more visually stimulating piece. These are not what I had expected, but that's okay. I'm going with my green. And again, all the consistencies are similar. If you can see, it's flowing like honey, warm honey. And this is again my green pearl. I'm going a little heavy-handed on here, not as much or as many puddles as the others. But I think the interplay of them will work out. The finished product, as I said, may or may not be ready when I do finish this, but I will post it on various media sites so that you can check it out there, and just to get the method down. What I'm noticing from the drips that are happening here is that some of those are actually forming cloud pores. Let me just tilt my canvas a little bit. Seems to be real. I'm having an issue with it flowing a little bit more than I wanted to. And again, I'm going to just stir it up. Final color is my violet. Just try to fill in some of the spots where I think it might work. I love this because there's an element of surprise to it. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out because, as I said, the pearlescent or the pearl paints do take a while. Oh, there's a clump I forgot to get out. Clumps form in the Awatrol, which is actually an Australian medium. They do have Flutrol in the United States, but I find that the Awatrol actually works better. It has a smoother consistency, and in this case, I might explain why it's causing the paint to be thinner as it's pouring onto my canvas. I think that's going to do it. And if I haven't mentioned it, I am using a 20 by 24 canvas with 1.5 inch deep. So it's not as large as the one I had used yesterday. I like to switch it up a little bit. Yesterday's was a commission. This one will be available once it's done. So what I want to do is go in and deconstruct it a little bit. And before I do that, I actually do need to pop some air bubbles. So I want to go in on the diagonal and deconstruct it. I'm going to wipe off my palette knife so that hopefully the colors will not be muddied. And that is why cleaning the palette knife in between is so important, whether you're doing this type of pour, ring pour, Dutch pour, open cup pour, and so on. Hope you have some real wonderful plans this weekend. Perhaps just hanging out on your couch, vegging out, watching your favorite shows, or reading a really great book, like the one I mentioned or the ones I mentioned by Paris Afton Bonds. Pick them up. They are available on Kindle and in paperback. I love paperbacks personally because very tactile individual who loves the feel, the smell of books, and there's just something that reading it on an ebook, Kindle format, just doesn't quite satisfy me. All right, so I've gone on the diagonal this way, and I'm going to go in the other direction. What I neglected to do was actually place my leveler on it to make sure that it was even or perfectly balanced. And because I did not do that, my paint is dripping more to the side than it should. I hope you have had a chance to check out my other videos on YouTube. Your support is tremendously appreciated. Viewing, I know that in order to hit that like button or leave your comments, you do need to subscribe, but you don't necessarily have to, though I really would love your support and subscriptions to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm also on Ko-Fi, where you can order or commission the paintings that you think you'd like to own. I want to add some more black around my perimeter so that the paint will hopefully flow a little bit better. I have quite a bit of paint already on the canvas, but I want to just make sure that it will continue that flow to the edges especially, and then take over the sides because I have not prepped the sides for this one. So, saying, well, you're wasting a lot of paint. Yeah, this is true. But I don't know, I was brought up that way. I guess perhaps it's a gene thing. I was in the gene pool more rather than less. Safe than sorry, I don't know. Is there a better way, as Lauren would say in answering the call? There's always a better way. And just finding your own way to get to that better way, if you will, is what you need to do through trial and error. So let's stretch this out. I'm going to stretch it out toward you. Bring it back a little bit. I'm going to go to that side and bring it back. And go to the other side. Bring it back. Cover that side a bit. Bring it back. I don't want to go too quickly with it so that I don't lose the colors. But I do want to get to this side and cover and bring it back. I was judged by the weight of your paint. The more paint you have on the canvas in certain areas, those are the ones that are one, going to take longer time to dry, or two, create crackles because there is too much paint on your canvas. And you may want that effect. Sometimes I do, and I purposefully leave that extra paint on there, but sometimes I don't. I want to just touch up my side just a little bit, make sure everything is covered. I'm going to go underneath to get rid of some of that excess paint so that it does not weigh down or pull down the composition. Touch up my corners. these gloves. Wipe off my hands real quick. All right. Now it all looks white on black. And as I said, the Pearl Essence paints will develop their colors through the drying process. I want to blow out some of those air bubbles. I'm actually going to take my heat gun to it. See if there are any cells that are lying underneath. See if they come through. And some are. So real pretty effects here. And so as it dries, there are going to be some pops of colors that are ringed by that black, or have a black center in some cases, and it's going to be given added dimension and depth to the painting. Just step up and step back to see if I'd like to stretch it in any other directions. The camera isn't catching it, but what's going on here already, I can see some of that violet purple coming through. That richness of the pigment is developing a lot quicker than the yellow or the red, but here there are hints of the lavender starting to creep through, as well as here. Hints of green are starting to show. And again, as it dries, it continues to dry, those colors will dry off and become vibrant. And also they have a sheen to them and a matte finish. And so that should look really nice with the contrast on the black. I was going to use white, but I thought that that would just not give it that luxurious look to it, and so I opted for the black pillow or base coat to this. So we'll see. I need to pop a few more of the air bubbles. The canvas over just a little bit. The reason being, there's an awful lot of paint that fell off the canvas on that side. As I said, I didn't level it correctly, and so I have more paint runoff than I had expected. So I don't want to waste it. So what I'd like to do is create another painting using the paint that's there. And I'm going to do a Diptych technique, which I sometimes do when I do not want to waste all that paint. I'm going to use an 8 by 11 canvas. And I'm sorry you can't see this, but what I'm going to do is actually dip it in the remaining paint that's here. Press it down. So it's hopefully all covered. Then lift it up. And that did not work right now. It seems like the canvas is all black, but as I said, as it dries, those colors are going to bring their vibrancy in, and it will no longer be a totally black canvas. It will not be ready, I fear, before the video ends. So please do check it out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Wi-Fi. So I've dipped in my sides. What I want to do is take the blow gun to it, pop some bubbles here as well. I'm going to take my air gun to it also. Just prop it up so that it air dries, or it dries from underneath. Place my cups under it to catch excess paint, but most importantly, so that it has a nice airflow to dry from underneath. I'm going to wipe off my hands and bring my camera in so that you can get a close-up view of the wet look. As I said, as it dries, it's going to start to pick up those beautiful colors, the red and the blue and the violet and yellow and the green. It's almost the rainbow, Roy G. Biv. There's no orange. I chose not to use an orange here, or indigo. All right, let me take you in. And the colors slowly starting to get their pigment onto the canvas. It'll be interesting to see that interplay of colors when it's actually completely dry. Slowly coming out. I want to catch the side of it because there are some colors that are starting to show through. If you can see that purple and green that drip down the side, that's what it will look like on the canvas. On the top, there's that blue. And this is, again, this one side where it's starting to do its magic. This is the Diptych, and the colors are starting to come through there as well. I hope you enjoyed today's video. and hopefully you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you again soon. Enjoy your weekend.